So
Well,
it is 10 a.m. and we're going to go ahead and get started because you know what that means, Rita? It is Financial Fun Fed Friday.
Friday.
We have fun on the line. Doing. Okay, where's our music? Cue the music, hey, you know what that means. Time to move a little something, you all. It's your morning exercise. Get those feet flowing. We are in the eye of the tiger, seriously. And so let's just work our way out. This was one of the because we have an impactful show today. Yes, we do.
Okay, I'm done.
I'm done too, Rita. Let's move on out of this storm. Welcome, everyone. Thank you for joining us for another fantabulous episode of Financial Fed Friday. I am your co-host, Darlene Jenkins, and my other co-host,
Dr. Rita B. Rowland.
Dr. Rita B. Rowland. And of course, this is brought to you by the wonderful folks at Affordable Benefit Solutions, which include your Financial Fed Friday host. So thank you for joining us. Financial Fed Friday, this is a webinar that we do on the first and the third Friday of each and every month. And we're also broadcasting live on Facebook. Welcome.
Facebook.
Yes, we do it at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. And during this broadcast, what we aim to do is just to pull back the curtain so that you can get an in-depth understanding of not only your benefits you have on the job, but we also endeavor to provide you with some of the best investment options, strategies that are out there, and just continually to give you financial nuggets and strategies that you can use to move your financial picture ahead. Of course, if you want to join us live here on the broadcast where you talk and we talk directly back to you, you can register at Rita B. Rowland Events, that's with an S.com. If you want to watch us on Facebook, go to Your AB Solutions, click on that link, scroll down, find us. We're broadcasting live right now. And of course, if you're watching us on YouTube, please hit the thumbs up and subscribe button. If you're watching us on here, go over to YouTube and please subscribe to our channel. That's where we put new content up that may not be broadcast here. So please, that is how you can join us here, your Financial Fed Friday team. Now, during this Financial Fed Friday series, the reason Rita and I put this together is the whole purpose is to help you understand your habits, your spending habits, your money personality. We put up a money personality quiz. If you have not taken it, that's why you need to go over to our YouTube channel, watch that broadcast, and take the quiz, because really your money personality really dictates how you spend your money and, you know, your habits. So that's what we're trying to do. And then most importantly, we're here to offer you support and solutions to enable you to reach your financial destination. So that's what we're doing. Hey, Dwayne. So before we jump into the information, I just want to let you all know that this broadcast is going to be the information we're going to present will be presented in a generic approach. And the reason we do that is without having individual knowledge of each of you's, is that a word? You? I don't know. Okay. Without having individual knowledge of each person that is watching us now live or will watch us, we are unable to individualize this presentation because we don't know everyone's situation. But I tell you what we will do, if you reach out to your Financial Fed Friday team or any of our team members at Affordable Benefit Solutions, anything you see here, we will absolutely customize it to help you address your financial needs. So please accept the information that we're going to be going over today as general in context, and then apply what you feel fits your particular situation. So thank you so much for understanding.
Yes, and before we get started, I wanted to share something with you, but I want you to know that we're wearing our pink today in honor of Breast Cancer Awareness Month. They said the other day on the news, Dr. Arlene, that the numbers for breast cancer was down, for screenings was down, for detection was down, for tests was down. It's not down because the numbers are down, y'all. It's down because of Corona. Women have been afraid to go in, and people afraid to go to the doctor, afraid to go out the house. But I'm going to tell you that for us women, we need to go get that check. They have cleaned the machines, or you can bring your own wipes and you can wipe it again. And so we need to be just very clear. The numbers are not down because they're down. They're down because people are not going to the doctor. And so I pray that none of us have breast cancer in the name of Jesus. But it's good to go see to make sure, so we really know what we're praying for, darling. So y'all go to the doctor. So that's why we're wearing our pink today. But I had something funny for you because kids can teach us a lot of stuff. So let me just share something with y'all. I just want y'all to get y'all T cells up. Darling, you got to give me permission. Y'all, she has permission.
Okay, go ahead. I apologize.
All right, so let me see something here. Let's share this thing right here. Y'all are ready? Hold on to yourself. Hold on to yourself. Oh, wait a minute. Let me stop because I got to make sure I tell it to share, right, Jenkins? Got to have a sound together, y'all. All right. We are ready. Hold on to yourselves.
Right. Jaden has $1 bill,
hold on.
1 quarter, and 2 pennies. How much money does he have? Jaden broke.
Oh my God. I feel like I need to show that again. Hold on.
Jaden has $1 bill, 1 quarter, and 2 pennies. How much money does he have? Jaden broke.
Oh God. Man, babies will tell you the truth. You hear me? He said $1.27. You know that ain't enough money. He said Jaden broke. And so
and that is why your Financial Fed Friday team, our team for 2020 is getting fiscally our money getting fit, because we don't want this baby laughing at us talking about they broke. So we're going to just jump right into today's episode. Rita, I love that. Thank you so much for sharing.
Yeah.
That's real. So, okay. Today we are looking at the fourth quarter check-in. We are in the last quarter of the year. So we're going to be looking at where are we? Just, what is going on? Then what factors may potentially continue to impact our finances? And then we're just going to offer some things for you to consider moving forward, because this is, very serious. We got some serious information today, right, Rita? About, the president has tested positive for coronavirus. What does all of that mean for us? So, where are we, Rita? So, let me just go over this part because you're on mute. So what's going on right now? As I said, we have coronavirus we're still in the midst of a pandemic. Over 206,000 people, our fellow Americans, have died, and that number is rising. And as I just said, we found out today that the president of the United States has coronavirus. His wife has coronavirus. Other members in his immediate circle have coronavirus. The vice president does not. They say he's exhibiting mild symptoms, but what does that even mean? How is that going to shape things? Then we also had the CARES Act that was passed to help us financially try and deal with the impact of the coronavirus. But the unemployment numbers came out today, Rita, and the unemployment rate overall has dropped. I think they said it's at 7.9.
Mm-hmm.
But in the African American community, the unemployment rate is still 12.9. 12.9%. So we still have high unemployment. We still haven't gotten back all of the jobs that we lost. And another thing I want to add into that is that today, because the new stimulus bill has not been approved and gone through Congress, several airlines are going to be laying off 30,000 employees that are now going to be going on the unemployment rolls. So unemployment is going to be going back up. Go ahead, Rita.
And they said that they gave some statistics the other day about the unemployment rate. So they gave the whole rate, but then they gave by industry, and the hospitality industry had a 30% unemployment rate. And the retail, I think, was like at 14 point some percent. And of course, there's a lot of big stores that are thinking about closing. And what we understand is that 25% of the GDP is the retail business. So if they're out of business, then that already lets us know that we're definitely in that, Great Depression or recession, because we don't really understand the numbers, but it is serious out here.
Very serious. And then we still have to contend with social distancing. Now, because the numbers, more states are opening up, are we still practicing the type of social distancing that we need to? Social distancing and has also created an impact on our mental health because of this social distancing. But that's what's required to try and get the pandemic under control. And then add to all of that, we have the social unrest because of social injustice. And when we put all of this together that's going on in our lives, we still have to deal with our own finances. Your financial goals for 2020, where are you with that? It's a lot of pressure from all sides, right, Rita? So let's dive into it.
Absolutely.
Rita, tell them about the factors that can impact our finances.
Well, of course, Darlene, the biggest thing that is such an ugly thing, and that is election. And so people are many people don't like Trump, but many people aren't happy with Biden. So we're in a really tight place. I'm not going to be a politician. I'm not picking any sides. That's not my job for you, but that's going to really impact our finances, especially when it comes to the stock market, because people are anticipating who gets in the house, what happens, and what company. So, and then the CARES Act, because a lot of money went into this. A lot of money got to go back. And where is it going to come from? It's going to come from us. So as much as this may help us in a sense, we're going to have to pay for it, because where does the money come from? Even though we know that they're printing money, which is also a big issue, they're going to expect us to pay this back some kind of way in taxes. We'll talk about that in a minute. And the rule changes in the insurance industry. We were very shocked. We had a client who was 83. And before we could find her insurance, and we started looking around, it was maybe like 2 companies, because a lot of companies had changed their age from 80, 85 being the max to like 70. So there's a lot of impact that we'll talk about in a minute as well. And then the healthcare changes. So, if you think about it, people are sick. We get that. People sick all the time. But when it was 200,000 that died. Some of them and most of them probably made it to the hospital. But how many more made it to the hospital and survived? But that is a cost to someone, and they're going to send that cost back to us. So even as we think about retirement, there's so many things. If you're in the process of retiring, there's a lot of more expenses that you're going to have to think about, because maybe where your insurance and retirement was $200-300, it's possible that healthcare could go to $400 or $500. Somebody's going to have to pay. And it's unfortunate that most of the cost to carry this country is coming to the everyday working American. The rich, even if it gets there, they have enough to cover. It's no impact to them. The poor is poor, so they're not paying for it anyway. So who's funding it the most is the middle class. And of course, the potential record eviction I was just watching. I thought it was here, but Darlington was another place that they had like 30-something thousand evictions for September. Last month this month was like 27,000. Last month was 36. And then with this whole, defaulting the payment, if people are not, a lot of people took advantage of stuff that they didn't need to. And I think in the end, it may hurt them. Like I took advantage of being able to pay the mortgage late, but I paid it all up. I just paid it because I had an opportunity to hold on my cash and do some other things, but I paid that mortgage every month. Or so take advantage of it, but not an advantage where it leaves you in a tight place.
Right. And Rita, just speaking to that, when they had those deferments, I don't believe a lot of people truly understood that everything was going to be due in a lump sum payment. So they pushed it back from July until now in October. So if the individuals, if people couldn't pay their mortgages, couldn't pay their car notes at the time, which is why they deferred it. And now not only do you have to pay all of the back deferral payments, you still have to pay your current expenses as well. Now, some lenders, they did allow people to put it on the back end.
Absolutely. Yeah.
If you inquired. But if you didn't, then it was just a standard program. We're going to defer the payments for 3 months. But then in that 4th month, we want the deferral payments plus the current month payment. So that is just going to be really important. And before I move on, I just want to say one more thing about the healthcare changes. Some insurance companies, they're now trying to not cover the cost of treating you for COVID. This is very, very important because the Affordable Care Act, or people like to call Obamacare, that's up. They're trying to get rid of that. So if Obamacare is abolished, that is 22 million people that will right then and there be without health care. And it's going to go back to where pre-existing conditions. So if you're listening to us and you have a pre-existing condition and your health insurance, you don't work for the government, you got it on the open market, you're in the private sector, all of these things are going to be impacted. Everyone is going to be impacted in one way or another, and it's going to hit us in our pocketbooks. Why? Because the prices are going to be going up, and we're going to have more uninsured people, which is going to put more pressure on the healthcare industry, which is then going to do what? Drive the healthcare costs up again. So we have to start being aware of how each individual thing will ultimately impact our pocketbooks. Because Rita, what I found is that sometimes people will say, oh, well, I work here, so that doesn't pertain to me. In the short run, it doesn't pertain to you, but in the long run, it will pertain to you. So that's my 2 cents on that.
And so, as we just talked about, there are articles. You don't have to just take our words. There's a lot out there, really discussing, does life insurance cover coronavirus? We've had so many people, and Robert, who's in our office, a manager, he does a lot of life insurance. And he came back to tell us how much the applications have changed, all of the information that they're asking. Have you been exposed? Anybody in your family, and they're checking. And guess what, people, you can't lie, because just like they can check your credit with your social security number, they can check your health care. They can see if you had a prescription, if you went to the doctor. And so what we're truly trying to tell you is that so many of us wait to the last minute to take care of it. While you healthy, you don't know what this next round going to bring. You need to be in position to cover yourself and your loved ones while you still can, because as we say, we don't really know what is going on. It truly, because what happened too is that it was ParaMed company. It was people who wanted 200,000, 300,000. The whole industry had to shift because the ParaMed companies were no longer, their employees were too fearful to come out to you to do a blood, to do urine. So where people used to come to your house and do your physical, they were like, we out of here. We don't know what y'all have. So like we had 3 major companies that we used to deal with. I think in the end, I don't know if we had one left or they were all say, we out of here. We're not going to people's homes to check it. So it left the insurance company in a really tight place because you want enough insurance. We normally have to do a physical on you or a paramed to determine if you're eligible. Now we can't do that because the people saying we're not coming to check you. So some companies made some leeway to accept you. They're going to check things, but you just need to know things are changing. And the COVID, what they're saying, it may forever up in the healthcare industry. And Darlene just talked about that, because at the end of the day, somebody is going to have to pay. And as much as I don't know, I'm really like, I took a class and my teacher talked about the healthcare industry and why it's almost important that all of us, that we find a way for everybody to be insured. Because at the end of the day, if somebody is sick, they're going to go to the hospital, and most hospitals can't reject you. So they're going to take care of you. Now, they may not take care of you the way you deserve to be taken care of, but you're going to get some care. But then because of that cost, the hospital has to eat it. And how do they eat it? Everything, as Darlene just said, it comes back to people who are paying. So I almost feel like there's a lot of countries that there's universal health care. We may all pay more, but if everybody's insured, it makes it easier. And I think the cost to me changes. And maybe my thinking is different. And that life insurance has been impacted. So if you look over here, if you can read this, it says here that as the coronavirus pandemic continues to threaten the health of people in almost every community on the planet, it is natural for more people to consider the relevance of life insurance in their current situation. And so many people called us, they want some insurance now because family member who was healthy on Friday went into the hospital for COVID, never came out, but they were not prepared. Does coverage apply to a death caused by COVID-19? Has life insurance gotten more expensive? Should I apply for life insurance now? They haven't told us all of that, because they're not going to tell us everything, but you got to think about it. The risk of many more people dying is real, right? Because we just saw 206,000 people gone within a few months. So that means that they're going to have to pay more claims. Every business, everybody is about making their bottom line better or the same, not decrease. So you can expect these rates are going to go up. So while you're healthy, while you have an opportunity to, you may want to look at making sure that you put something in place. Guess what? We're not talking about the Rolls-Royce life insurance plan, not the one you want to leave your family $1 million. How about leave them enough that they don't have to go to Facebook and do a GoFundMe account? How about a $20,000 policy? 15. Get them in the ground in peace. And that's just what's happening. That is the real impact of coronavirus.
Yes, and Rita, one thing I just want to also make mention of, I know there are many, many people on here watching us that actually work for either the federal government or the state government or municipality government agency where their insurance is included on their job. And I could just see in the ether, felt it in my shana now, Rita, that someone is like, oh, well, I'm covered through my job. But what most employees don't know until they're processing that paperwork about to walk out the door, that those multiple options that you have you considered the cost when you leave? In the federal government, your option B, that's term insurance. That's like renting an apartment. The rent goes up every 5 years that you go into a new age bracket. In retirement, it could become, in most cases, cost prohibitive. So while you're working, you're like, oh, I'm good, I'm covered. I got $300,000, I got $500,000 if you're a high earner. And then when you turn 65, that coverage starts decreasing because you can't afford to keep it in place. So when you're older and you need it the most, it's not going to be there for you and your family. So you have to sit down, give us a call, 301-577-6340. You have the opportunity. Let's just have a quick 15-minute consultation. If you're on here, I put the link to our to get on our calendar just to have a conversation. Let me see what's going on. You need to book a consultation.
And you know what else, Jenkins? My mom called me on Wednesday, so I need to call her. Oh, I did talk to her yesterday, but I need to she said that the Medicare plan that she had, that they dropped out of Maryland. So you can also know, so some of you have parents, or you may be at that point you're about to get Medicare, because this coronavirus hit the senior market hard in the beginning. And there was a lot of cost to Medicare. So now they're starting to drop out. Some companies that were in, they're leaving the industry, leaving our parents and grandparents in a position of trying to find the right plan that's going to cover them. So if you have parents and you have grandparents, sit down in the system. We do have someone now that we don't do it, but we have a trained person who is actually doing Medicare to help our clients with this. And so it's important that we understand the impact of this, not on just, food and, Lysol spray. You guys, is much bigger than that.
Absolutely.
And so the other impact that it has is on our retirement accounts. And this is important, Darlene, because this is what makes a decision how long we work and if we can be in retirement in peace. And so what they did with the COVID, they allowed for some distributions. Now, you're exempt from the 10% penalty, and this is for people who are under 59 and a half. Right now, if you were going to your IRA, your 401k, thrift saving, 403b, if you were to go and withdraw money out of that account and you're not 59 and a half, they're going to charge you a 10% penalty. That is exempt based on the CARES Act. Then there are some requirements that you have to have and that you're not subject to the mandatory, withholding for taxes. Now, this is important to know because many people, retirement is about to be real for us, like having enough money. Social Security have some real issues. So don't look at this as free money. It's time to go get my money because maybe your husband or your wife did lose their job, but maybe you wasn't really impacted enough to take out the money. You take it out and you go shopping, you buy stuff that you don't need. Remember, you guys, this money isn't play money. This is 10 years of your working career. This is 20 years. This is 30 years of you putting money into a vehicle designed for the OU. So when we think about it, we are helping a lot of clients who made a decision to move their money to more safety, to guarantees, but we're using this to move it to one retirement vehicle to another. But if you're in a position, because you're eligible, you can do that. Now, it can be paid over 3 years. Now, some people, that's a good deal, but for some people, it may not, because if your income is increasing over the, every year you're getting a raise and then you're adding 1/3 of this over top of it, you actually could maybe pay more taxes to pay it back. So make sure that you are in a position. Now, so if you can pay it back in 1 year, you may want to. If you need to stretch that out because your spouse still doesn't have a job, so therefore is less income coming in the house, that's when you want to talk to some professional. You want to talk to us. Now, I'm going to tell you, I'm a CPA, but I don't do taxes. But I have a CPA firm that we work with to help us to make sure that all of our clients have the right tax information. But if you redeposit that money back into another plan, which is what many of our clients are doing, and you do it before the April the 15th of next year, then no taxes will be owed. So it could be a strategic plan, but you have to have a plan. You need to understand it, and you don't do it haphazardly. Okay, let me go withdraw. You need to sit down and make sure you have all of the facts. Now, for 2020, for anybody who is over 70 and a half and you had to take your RMD, they have waived that this year. So we have parents and we have a lot of clients, you do not have to take this RMD. Now, if you took it maybe in February or early March and you don't need it, they're allowing you to return that back. That's just for this year. So you're able to redeposit that back into your retirement account. Now, if you have a beneficiary IRA or an inherited IRA, you don't have that same relief. You're going to have to take those RMDs. So just understand how it works, what's going on, and make a determination. You may have a spouse may have lost their job, and this may be something you guys really need to live off, but be even strategic in that. Like, okay, you used to living off for $2,000 a month from your spouse or $3,000. Don't take out this 100 and just blow it all in 6 months, because if you only need 3, then that's only the 36,000 for the next 6 months. Then maybe you need to look at how can we maximize this even if we do need it, because guess what? Retirement is still coming and you're going to still need money, as we can see. And the other things you want to consider is the CARES Act, is what we just said. And why is that important to you? Because you have an opportunity to maybe look at your own financial situation and make a decision to make some changes, to add another vehicle that you don't have to worry about it. So we have vehicles that are designed for safety. that are designed for income planning, that are designed for estate planning, that are designed for tax-free. It's also a good time to do some Roth conversion. And so we can look at what's best for you. And darling, as we always say, you can feel free to call us. I think in the chat box, if you're on Zoom, we have a link, and maybe, darling, you could try to put the link on Facebook. Feel free to get a 15 to 20-minute consult with us just to have a conversation. You have no commitment, just to maybe talk it out. So the next thing we want to talk about is the low interest rate. And so the interest rates are very low. They even talked about at the Fed level that the G fund is potentially going to be low for the next up until 2023. So how do you protect your retirement assets when you're trying to avoid not losing it because you got a year, 2, 3 years out from retirement? You can't afford to be in a risky situation like what just happened in March, that we know we lost 30% in 22 days. You can't afford to be a year out from retirement too, and your account is $500,000 and you just lose 30%. That's $150,000 of real dollars. If you had $1 million, that is $300,000 of real dollars, and you're ready to go out of retirement and it's gone. And so maybe you want to look at what can you do to protect it. So many people move their money to the G fund. That makes sense to me, but the G fund can't be inflation, which means you're saving at a negative rate. And so you may want to just explore some other low risk retirement vehicle that can give you the same protection of your principal, but allow you to have a higher interest rate and some more guarantees that you cannot have within your own retirement plan. That's like low rate. You guys, we already know that our savings account, I have an account that I use to pay bills, so I don't keep a whole lot in there, but it's a few thousand in there. And I got 2 cents the other day on interest. Like, I almost feel like that's an insult. They could have kept that 2 cents. Like, did you really just deposit 2 cents in my account? And then, so it's just amazing how what they give us is nothing. But you can be, you can bounce a check for 2 cents and they charge you $36. But they give you 2 cents, or you got thousands of dollars in their account. And so when we think about your money, it's really time for us to really pay attention and look at your insurance need. Remember, my whole thing about everything is just being proactive, because we don't know the unknown. You can't wait till it happens. You have to be prepared for it. If it does happen, you're prepared. If you never need it, that is wonderful. But one thing we always say, at least I always say, there's one thing we all know that's going to happen. We all were born. That's one thing that we all have in common. The only other thing that we all going to all have in common, the exact, is that we're going to die. And not having a plan in place, you plan for the birth, and even if you didn't expect that baby, you come up with a plan very quick. Guess what? We have to have a plan in the event that something should happen to us, our loved ones, our children, our parents, our siblings. We have to have something in place. So these are the things that we need to consider and really begin to look at our own financial picture, because as much as you love your government, no matter who gets in the house, your fiscal financial situation is based on you, whether it's a Democrat or a Republican. It does not matter, or liberal. It does not matter. You may have a little bit less taxes to pay, or a little bit more this to pay, but at the end of the day, retirement is going to be based on what you do, not anyone else.
Exactly. And Reed, I just want to add one thing. When you were saying about the G fund staying low, the reason is because the feds have already said they're keeping the interest rates near zero, which the G fund is based off the consumer price index for that rate. So, and they're doing that through 2023. So if you're taking money out, you're going into retirement and your money is in the G fund and you're using your TSP, you're actually spending your principal because you haven't made any money. And that's why that is how you can get to outliving your money, running out of money, spending up all of your principal. That's why that's the greatest fear in retirement. Will I outlive my money? If you don't have a strategic plan, you very well could outlive your money, even though you do have a pension. It could be very uncomfortable for you because what you have coming in is not keeping up with the cost of goods and services. So it puts more pressure on you.
And you know what else too, they think about, you can go ahead. I have a lot of clients that I'm assisting right now. If you got good credit and you got enough equity or just enough, if you can refinance, a lot of people got that 5% interest rate, 5.5%, 6%. over the last 2 weeks, I've been stressing to clients. This is a good time to take advantage of the quote unquote equity. Because remember, it's just a number on a piece of paper. But sometimes that number on that piece of paper works to your advantage. So while interest rates are record low, you need to try to refinance if you can. Not to take out money and go shopping, going to, we ain't going on no trip too much anyway. But if you need some repairs, but get it out now, because what we just talked about, record evictions, foreclosures. We remember this looks like that same duck that was quacking back in '08, right? The values of homes went down. So while you can afford to get equity out or just get a lower note. So one of my clients, a couple of them, one was $2,900 was her mortgage. By refinancing, she didn't take out anything, but her interest rate dropped about 1.5 or 2 based on the value of her house. She's saving darling $800. Her mortgage went to 21. I talked to one yesterday. Her rental property is $1,850. With the refinances going to $1,375. So she's talking about rental income back in her pocket. Now she can use that money to do something else for her own future. She was like, well, should I keep paying $1,800? It's a rental property. Why would you give your money to a vehicle that could possibly reduce in value and you can put this money somewhere else to create more wealth? So sit down with us. We may have some solution. So that's why let us help you with your financial destination planning process. So whether it's doing a federal benefits analysis, looking at your FERS, your SERV, your saving. Guess what? The government, most jobs have some really good benefits, but as we know, there's some of them that has some gaps in it. What we do is we help you to fill in the gap. Look at your Social Security plan. A lot of us are nervous, me included. Is it going to be here the way I expect it to be here? I expect it to be here. Is it going to be here at the amount that I want, at the time that I want? And so let's look at planning for you. So I met with a client on Monday, and what we determined, she was like, Rita, taking it out at 67 is good, but if I take it out at 65, for me, it's only $136 difference. She said, I'm not willing to wait another 2 years for $136. I'm going to take it at 65. So our Social Security plan, we come up with anywhere from 3 to 5 scenarios. So you can look at what's the best timing based on all of your other income using the income plan. So there's a lot of solutions that you need. Many people just don't know, Darlene, how they know they want to retire. They have this pool of money, but they have fear that they won't have enough. So the question is, the tax plan and what if and what now? Because what if was before, what now is different. Everything is changing. Like 2020 has been a year of a lot of changes for all of us in almost every area of our life. And so what can you expect from this income plan? You can expect a few things. When is it starting and where will it come from? Our job is to look at all of your streams of income and put a plan together, because you need something that you can go to sleep at night and you have a solution, and you can go to bed every night knowing that you have a plan for when this is going to kick in based on guarantees. In what order? Do you take your tax-free first? Do you take your tax deferred or earlier? Do you take your non? How do you do it? Which one is going to best suit you based on income? I'm getting Social Security. I'm getting Medicare. I'm trying to reduce my taxable cost. What is this? All those things will happen. How will it grow? I'm in retirement. Do I still get any gains on my income? And how will it account for my healthcare issue? What they say is that 70% of us will need some form of long-term care. And so if you're married, at least one of you would need care, and maybe the other one, depending on what type, how extensive. Maybe you don't need to be fully, you got 2 out of 6, but maybe you got 1 out of 6 that you can't perform. And how long will your money last? It's one thing that we do know, that the death date is the date that we don't know. And so money has to last just as long as we do. And because that is a variable that is unknown, we have to have a plan for just in case we live. Not if I don't think I'm gonna live that long, so let me just enjoy my life. And then at 82, you still living, you live another 10 years, but because you blew it all, not knowing, the next 10 years you suffer. I'm sorry, your family suffers because somebody's gonna have to take care of you. And so I want to make sure we help you with all of that.
So yeah, and with everything that Rita just said, gain peace of mind now. Get a written retirement income plan and quit wondering about your retirement income. Is it going to last? What's going to happen with the market? The market is down today on the news that the president contracted coronavirus. You know why? because we don't know what's going to happen. Now people are looking at, because of his age, because it is affecting the senior population, and he is in that age group.
And Biden.
Yeah, exactly. So what's the chain of command? Because he is the president right now. The vice president doesn't have it, but will he get it? So it's a lot of uncertainty going on. And when you have a written retirement income plan, when you go through your financial destination planning process with us, you know what you can avoid? The UDF syndrome. If I could have, if I should have, if I would have, you don't have to worry about that. So when you look back and you start saying, oh, if I had only, you don't want the if I'da syndrome. You don't. I put the information, the link in the chat box. Please take advantage of it. Read it. Everyone watching us on Facebook, I have not forgotten about you. Immediately after broadcast, I will type that into our Facebook as well. So as we let you know, planning is just bringing the future into the present so that you can do something about it right now. And I want to let you know, we do appreciate you hanging in here with us. We know we went over a little longer today, but this is very important. We have a lot going on. So we've laid out the things that you should be thinking about. Now we're back here in the present. Let's do something about it now while we still can. We are here, Affordable Benefit Solutions, your Financial Fed Friday team. At Affordable Benefit Solutions, we are a full service financial solutions firm. We can help you with your retirement planning, how to, as we just showed you, give you an income plan, show you how to get tax-free retirement income, help you with estate planning, how to most tax efficiently transfer your assets to your heirs. And it's not even about tax efficiency. I'm telling you, it's about peace of mind. How do I know? I went through this process with my mother. And I'm telling you, if I would have had to deal with, on top of all of the other emotional stress I was under, if I would have had to go through probate with her will and with her assets, it would have been just even more emotional, more stressful, more pressure. That's why you want an estate plan, so it can be an easy transition of your assets to your heirs. People are not fighting because it's laid out in your estate plan, and you'll save your family taxes and potential taxes rather on the assets that you're leaving them. Insurance services, we just went over it. The times are changing. You're an asthmatic, it's like a 60-40 that you won't be able to get insurance, but you still have to try. Asthma was not a big deal initially, but because this COVID is a lung, it attacks our breathing, you just got pushed up high on the list of uninsurability. So you want to reach out to us if you have any health situations, you have any concerns in your mind, click on that link. We can help you with all of your insurance needs. Life insurance, as Rita said, GoFundMe on Facebook is not an adequate insurance plan. And people are tired of seeing that, I'm telling you. Also, your disability, if you get sick or hurt and can't work while you're working, that's your paycheck protection. And then long-term care. That is extremely important, especially as you go into retirement. Financial, rising healthcare costs are the #1 reason that senior citizens file bankruptcy. How do I know? I went through that with my mother. She was a retired federal worker, earning almost $80,000 a year in retirement. And she still had to file for bankruptcy because her healthcare costs were too expensive. She couldn't afford it. And then, of course, credit and debt elimination. We help you with everything because now you have to have good credit because even your job is dependent on it, your utilities, your car insurance. We can help you get those things in order. We do it all. We are your one-stop shop because we believe in approaching things from a holistic point of view because no one person, Rita, is just one thing. So we look at your big picture.
Hold on, Dolly. I just wanted to say, I just had a client that was in the office last night. She had a house. Her husband passed away. I think it was 13 or 14. I think we met about 12, and I think he passed away the year. But prior to that, he had been, away for about 10 years. So she has been paying for that mortgage all that time. And even when he came out, he wasn't working. He was older, ill. So she still was paying. But right before that, they got a divorce, but the lawyer didn't set the paperwork up to get the house out of his name. So all this time, she decides to sell the house because he had an estate. Kids that had never came to see him, did nothing, never paid a dime, but because she didn't have her estate plan properly structured, when she sold her house, half of the proceeds had to go to some kids that she had not seen, who didn't even like their father, but they got part of that money. And so when we talk about these are real scenario, things are happening. When you don't have things in place, you could lose half of your wealth. Especially, you know, that's what a lot of us have been married before, have children by other people than the ones that we're married to. You can disinherit your family, or people that don't deserve it can get it simply because you don't have the proper estate planning and process. So it's not even just about death. It's about death, but it's so much to go with that. And she was like, it's nothing she can do because she didn't have it done properly.
Absolutely, Rita. And so what's going to be right for you? It depends. We don't know. That's why we want you to contact us today so that we can help you map out a strategy to help you put all of the pieces together. That's what we're here for. And what we want to do in your strategy, because people, Rita, we still have this mentality, oh, the market is down, but it's going to come back. We are in the process of creating another Molotov cocktail for our finances. The market did come back. Now it's down again. We're back on that roller coaster ride. And what we specialize in is just putting together a plan that's going to help you with the preservation of your retirement assets, that will also give you enough accumulation to help you keep inflation at bay, but still at the same time help you save on taxation that's coming.
You know, Dolly, I'm so sorry. I know you guys said it's so many stories. So, you know, it was a couple in my office on Wednesday, and she had moved a part of her money last year into safety because she knew she was going to retire. So when she came in the office, she said her money had dropped during the whole COVID, but she said she was back up. And what she left in her account, me and her husband was like, no, you still lost money. She said, no, my account is back up. And so we had to remind her that she was doing $651 a pay period. So we added up from last February to September, what went into her TSP from her bi-weekly deductions. We added that to the 60 grand she left in there. What was in her account today was about $1,100 less than what it should have been based on what she had put in it. So where she thought she had bounced back, many people are very confused with their bi-weekly deduction being the increase and not the gain. So technically she was like, so basically I've lost money over the last 2 years. Absolutely. But the confusion is that she's paying into it. And so she's delusion that it's growth. It's not growth, it's her money.
Absolutely. Contact us. 301-577-6340, your Financial Fair Friday team in the Affordable Benefit Solutions Associates. We are here to help you put all the pieces together so that you can have the financial picture that you are dreaming of. So this is the rest of our staff here, myself and Rita, your Fed Friday Benefits team. And then we have our other associates, Dr. Javon Jackson there, and our office manager holding everything down, Mr. Robert Bailey, that a lot of you talk to. So please book your appointment. The link is in the chat so that we can talk. We appreciate you hanging in here with us. We are your Financial Fun Fed Friday team. Join us here again on the third Friday of the month. Of course, I never know what that date is, but it's coming up. And when you come, bring one. No, bring 2, 3. Send out information to all of your friends and families, co-workers, because they need to get this information. If you're on Facebook right now, please share this information on your page. Share this video. As I said, go back to YouTube and watch it again. It'll be up there later this afternoon. Kevin, we see you raise your hand. Rita, I don't have access to the chat, so can you see?
Kevin, yeah, I'm trying to see. Did he raise his hand or he have a question in the chat? chat box. I don't see the question. Let me see.
Raised his hand. I don't know, but thank
So
you.
Kevin, do you have a question? Do you want to talk it all out? You want to put it in the chat box or the question I'm looking? And we're here, even on Facebook, if you have a question, we are available. We are done. So those that need to leave, you can. But if you have a question and you want to hear the answer, please feel free to hang on. So Kevin, please ask your question. You're welcome, Robert. You're welcome. Anybody else have a question, Kevin? I don't know if I can see your question. All righty. Feel free to call us afterwards for everybody that's online. And it will be the 16th, you guys. Her numbers don't go together, but just let me help her out. 2 plus 14 is 16. So we'll see you on the 16th.
Work makes the dream work. Why do I need to keep those numbers when I know she has them, that little calculator over there? We appreciate you. Thank you again for hanging in here with us. We know we went over time, but we appreciate you, and we will see you back here on October the 16th at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. Take care, everybody.
Bye-bye.